Hello, my friends. J.R. Duke's back with you once again. Appreciate you joining me. I had a bunch of questions and text messages I received pertaining to the Electoral College and the video from the other day concerning polling. I want to reveal the number one state that I believe could put President Donald Trump back in the White House. And I'm talking the fact that it might come down to one state in particular. So let's get into it right now. And of course, we're talking about this year's 2024 presidential election between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris. We have talked a lot about the battleground states in this year's election, and today we're going to take a deeper dive into these battleground states. Of course, this year, everyone's eyes are focused on three states in particular, and I'm talking about Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Generally, these states are referred to as what the Democrats have called the blue wall. After looking at all the data that I could find pertaining to polls that are currently available that have been taken recently, I went ahead and I also looked at all the historical data pertaining to each and every one of these states. And the bottom line is this, my friends. I believe Donald Trump's chances of getting back in the White House, his victory can be up to one state. And that one state is the great state of Pennsylvania. It should be no coincidence you keep seeing the candidates return to Pennsylvania. I know it's hard to believe, but it's been less than 3 weeks ago that they had the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Thank God he has apparently recovered in full, and he is still strong and healthy, and he is out fighting once again for you and for me. In a minute, we're going to take a look at some maps that I put together that will help visualize and illustrate the points I'm trying to make. But I firmly believe that even if Donald Trump loses the state of Arizona, if he picks up and he wins the state of Pennsylvania, a win in Pennsylvania can secure the 270 electoral votes that he needs to secure the presidency. It's essential to recognize the importance of Pennsylvania in this election cycle. A victory here can offset losses in other battleground states and tilt the scales in Donald Trump's favor. Kamala Harris is now the official Democratic nominee for President of the United States. As you may know by now, she has picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate as vice president candidate for the Democratic ticket. Now, my friends, Tim Walz is a liberal's liberal. I don't believe there has ever been a more liberal ticket than the Harris-Walz ticket in the history of the United States. Walz's record, particularly during the 2020 riots, in response to George Floyd's death, raises serious concerns about his leadership abilities. His hesitation to deploy the National Guard led to widespread chaos and destruction all over the state of Minnesota. Harris and Walz's left-leaning radical agenda makes it even more critical and vital to support former President Donald Trump. Their liberal, crazy, nutty, woke policies could drive our country so far to the left that it could be disastrous for our nation. Even in Bernie Sanders' wildest dreams could he have never envisioned a perfect liberal ticket like the Harris-Walz ticket. Donald Trump winning this next election is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the values and the common sense norms in our lives that we all hold so dear. It's important that each and every one of us understand how the Electoral College works here in the United States. Every vote counts, and Pennsylvania, in particular this year, is going to lead as the cornerstone to Trump's victory. The stakes are incredibly high. And it's not too far of a stretch to tell you directly and straight that the future of our great country depends on this next election. So join me as we dive into the data, and let's take a look together to see exactly how this can play out. Let's see how the state of Pennsylvania can lead directly to Donald Trump's victory in 2024. So this first map that we're taking a look at is back from 2016. It shows the Electoral College breakdown state by state and exactly how Donald Trump was able to pull out a victory in 2016. If you notice from this map specifically, Donald Trump was able to carry that blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and he carried Georgia and Arizona. What we're looking at now is the map, the Electoral College map from 2020, in which former President Trump lost to Joe Biden. If you notice, the differences were very clear and very obvious. Donald Trump lost Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. You can add Georgia to that list also. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On this particular map, I went ahead and in the lighter color, I put down the states that I believe are going to be battleground states. So looking at the map, we have Nevada, Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. The reality is Minnesota is not necessarily going to be a hard battleground state, especially with Tim Walz on the ticket, the governor. It has generally always been a state that is blue, and it will probably stay that way. Now, here's where we get to the meat of everything. I believe the actual J.R. Duke's battleground states, if you will, are going to be the three you see right here. And these three states, mark my words, are going to determine the outcome of this presidential election. You have Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. This map here is for us to take a quick look at together, because this is essentially expectations of what all the pundits out there think is going to happen as of right now. The colors that are bluish are going to be Democratic strongholds, or they lean towards the Democratic side of the political spectrum. And of course, the red is going to be the Republican strongholds, or at least they lean more conservatively. According to this particular map, there's only really 61 electoral college votes up as far as what we can refer to as battleground electoral college votes. Now, take a look at this map with me. I erased myself temporarily because I want you to see this full map. This is how I believe things can very well turn out for the Republicans, aka Donald Trump. If you notice, it's obvious that Georgia should swing to the Republican column. Based on the polls right now, it might be the case that the state of Arizona might actually stay Democratic, although its history has definitely been Republican. In addition to this, I went ahead, and if you notice at the top of the map here, let's just call it the blue wall that we've been talking about. I'm going to go ahead and label it as a win for the Democrats. No big deal. Now let's look at Pennsylvania. Donald Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016, lost it in 2020. I believe that Donald Trump is likely to win Pennsylvania this year. Even if Donald Trump loses Nevada, Arizona, and the blue wall, based on the polling right now, if Donald Trump can carry Pennsylvania, Donald Trump will win and return to the presidency with 270 electoral votes, just like you see it on this particular map. So what do you think about that? You agree, disagree with me? It's very important that we all pay attention to this electoral college this year. Take a moment in the comments below. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. Do you think it's going to come down to Pennsylvania? I think this is a very high likelihood of what's going to happen if it's tight. If it's more of an electoral college blowout, then you'll see Donald Trump take Nevada, Arizona, maybe even some of the blue wall, specifically Wisconsin and Michigan. But stay tuned. We'll have to see. Please take a moment, hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Share this channel with any of your indoctrinated family members or friends. That's what I'm here for, is to stop the dreaded awful disease of indoctrination. Also, if you take a minute and subscribe to the channel and you leave a comment, I always answer your comments first. I try to answer all the comments that come in on the channel. However, that's not always possible, but I can assure you, if you're a subscriber, I will personally answer your comment. My friends, I always appreciate you taking time to join me today. I do not take it for granted. I appreciate each and every one of you. I always say, keep that mind free, never give up. And until next time, my friends, I am J.R. Dukes.